Yeah, so I was coming from Chicago, internship out in Chicago, and I was just doing terrible. I had this girlfriend who I was like, I'm gonna marry this girl, like she's the love of my life, and it fell apart. And I was chips down, like I was everything in on this girl, and it fell apart for some hard reasons. And so I'm out alone in Chicago, just going through it, like depression, drinking, like all these things that like I thought I'd been past before that just start coming back, and I'm holding on to a thread. And I had forgot I'd even said I was going to go to CMA. I was just looking to go home and cry with my mom. But my mentor at the time, Joseph, he calls me up and he kind of like verbally swindles me into CMA. Not really, but he backed me into a kind of a wall in a good way and held me accountable to going. And so there I was. I was driving my 2000 Grand Prix from Chicago to Miracle Camp, and I was like, Miracle Camp, like this is the most like Christian, like Veggie Tales kind of camp I've ever heard in my life. Like, where am I going? And my mic, all my stuff's in my car, like my records, my microwave, like my guitar. I didn't even use that. Like, and I'm smoking, and I'm just a degenerate, and I'm just rolling into Camp Veggie Tales and park at the top of the hill, get out. I'm looking at all these UCO people I'd just been keeping at a stiff arm for 3 years, and I just look up, and it was like a still summer night, and I just like prayed to God, like the only reason I'm here is because you got me, like you made me come like through this alive, and like whatever you want, I'm here for it. And that week, like I'd heard the gospel for 3 years. I'd been in formation for 3 years at that point, and I'd said like, Lord, you have my whole life. I did all those things, but that was the real time that the gospel came alive. Every preaching just hit home right in my heart, and it culminated on a Saturday night. I was during a prayer meeting, and I'd already really surrendered my life to the Lord, and the Lord just gave me a vision of Himself, and I won't go too far into it, but essentially He looked at me and he said, I love you, and all the stuff you've done before, you never have to go back there again if you're in me. And I can't tell you every theological statement that has to be said about what was going on with me in a spiritual sense, but I can tell anybody that before that moment, before I met Jesus Christ, the living God, I was one way, and after that, I've never been the same. And so if you're on the fence, if you think, these UCO people, they don't get me, they don't know me, no one's like me, like I get that. Like if you're coming in from a hard place, like I get that. But I will say, like the Lord met me in both of those things, and He's changed my life for the utmost better. And I'm only thankful for CMA 2019 and thankful for what the Lord's been doing since then.